The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clarke.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm Paige Clarke, and this is where we get a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
Yeah, to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And I'm Nico de Haan.
And it's a beautiful day. Downtown Clearwater, Florida, 60 degrees, kind of cloudy, kind of giving us a little break from the heat that we've had. Please subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. Comes out twice a month, $10 a month. You can use Tiger's Dollars if you're from TFNN.com. And delivered right into your inbox with clickable links that help you stay healthier.
That's right. And pick up our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, over 310 organic cell-ready ingredients that you need to take every day, powered by humic and fulvic acid.
And if you're up and at it, we're taking your phone calls.
That's
Join
right.
in on the conversation today, 877.
927-6648.
Awesome. Well, Nico.
Yes, what are we talking about today, Paige?
I found a couple interesting things I wanted to share with our listeners. This came from newsbud.com. I like this site. And it's an exclusive, and they're sharing that GMOs kill, not save, the hungry of the world. I often say we live in an upside-down world, and here's just another perfect example. Many of the GMO proponents are stating that they believe GMOs are necessary to save the world and feed the world, but research is showing that's not true.
Yeah, it's, this really began about after the Second World War. And everybody was really at that time into the Green Revolution, they called it, because farming was being mechanized, and we could see that through this mechanization and using these fields for just one crop is going to be a big boom. And what they were finding out is the big boom was the insects and the disease, because now no more diversity in the crops. We're not planting different things together, so everything is symbiotic. What we're doing is planting one thing. And
Monocrop agriculture has
Yes.
created this problem of insects and imbalance in the systems.
Right. So instead of going back and saying maybe this wasn't such a good idea and using the old methods that our traditional farmers did, they started really going into let's kill the insects and let's kill the disease, and that's what started us down this line of more pesticide use. But after more pesticide use in the 1980s, we started putting the pesticide inside the crops and then doing many other things to the GMO crops, whether it's putting pesticides in or making them larger or making them have resistance to different kinds of molds and things like that. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, so let's dive into this article. Science can and should keep debating the dangerous and unpredictability of genetically interfering with our food production. The efforts of GMOs on pesticide usage and its possible relation to cancer and other disease. And we've got another good article to reference.
Sure.
So on a more fundamental level, however, the most important question is the following. Why would we even want genetically modified instead of organic food on our plate? The main answer proponents claim is that GMOs are necessary to enhance the amount of global food production. However, much of the GMO discourse rests on that assertion, which means that when it is debunked as a myth, the whole argument for the need of genetically engineered food almost totally succumbs in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and remember, Paige, that when we talk about these crops, we're talking about carbohydrates.
Again, yeah, which
Again.
we already say there's too much of.
Yeah, so now, and we're really feeding the population starting in about the 1950s, switching over from eating a nice balanced diet to more and more carbohydrates.
And how's that working for us?
It's not working too well, especially now that we're doing things like this to the carbohydrates.
Yeah, we've got some ideas, and there's some the producers of The Truth About Cancer are coming out with calling diabetes the 21st century plague, the Black Plague, with the death tolls associated with this chronic disease approaching that of what the Black Plague does. But following the Second World War, modern yield increasing agricultural methods were gradually introduced, as you said.
Yep.
And this imbalance in our ecosystem has just really not been what they thought it was going to be.
No, and remember that this is the era in which corporations really started to gain much more profit. The dollar is becoming more and more important. Starting in the 1970s, big corporations were reaping bigger profits and looking for bigger profits because now they have stockholders, which in the past many companies didn't have. So these large corporations really do have one thing in mind, and that is profit, 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 and profit instead of the things that are good for us.
Right, and when we trace
really
back
matter.
the corporations of the food, we see it's really the chemical or the medical industrial complex that had leftover chemicals from the wars. Nico, if you could scroll up to that Time magazine cover in this article, I'd like to say that, over these last couple of years, 2 decades into the gene revolution, however, it has become crystal clear that GMOs have failed on their promise. And it was July 2009, the Union of Concerned Scientists, a U.S.-based nonprofit science advocacy organization that has hundreds of thousands of members of professional scientists, private citizens. They published a report on biotechnology's broken promise, and they called it Failure to Yield. And they are carefully examining the record of genetic modified crops in the U.S., and they're really saying it ain't all that.
Yeah, and we have a section of the world, which is the EU, which is not going that same route that we are here in North America.
They're starting to say, stop, wait a minute.
Yeah. And this was really blasted by the U.S. and Canada, saying they're just old-timers and they don't know what they're doing. But really, sustainable farming is what Europe is doing, and it's very, very successful. In fact, when we look at the yields page on the sustainable, we're talking about 76% yields that are growing every time, whereas with the pesticides and the GMOs, we're actually seeing a reduction in yield. So the promise that we're going to feed the world with GMOs is not going to happen.
It's a dead promise. In 2013, an article published in the International Journal of Agriculture Sustainability, too, found that relative to other foods secured and exported countries, Western Europe and the U.S. agro-ecosystems were not exceptional in yields. And they're comparing this with other places that, as you said, are starting to adapt a different approach. Today I'm going to introduce, I call it better than organic. Could there be something better than organic? Why I say biodynamic farming rivals anything even better. We're going to show you some evidence of that, when we come back. And, speaking of this, Nico, I think that the world is starting to wake up to the fact that maybe we've been sold a bill of goods on this genetically modified food source, but they continue to, you mentioned the corporate control. Look at Time magazine, a corporate-controlled piece of media, and they're appealing to our heartstrings. This rice could save 1 million kids a year. Well, it can make some corporations a lot of money.
I think as we enter into the next break, after the break, we're going to show a little film. I forget the name of it. What is it?
The Magic Pill. It's a trailer, healthy eating documentary. It's one that you want to see, so make sure you stay tuned to us after the break, and we'll let you see that right away.
About a 1.5-minute film. It's really important. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, Life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Fat's no good. Fat's no good. Don't want fat in my diet.
We have lived a lie for 50 years.
You know, it's not an accident that people are hooked on all this processed garbage.
Having the federal government get behind the low-fat diet changed vastly the food system.
Suddenly now we're eating a carbohydrate-based diet.
You might as well be eating a bowl full of sugar.
The one question I wish every single doctor would ask is, what are you eating?
Maple and brown sugar, heart healthy. You know that can't be right?
What powers the brain far more efficiently is fat.
We need to get back into the kitchen.
So we're going to add more fat to the diet. I mean, good, natural fat.
Coronary artery disease.
I have asthma.
Type 2 diabetes.
She has epilepsy.
Autism.
High cholesterol.
Cancer.
So when we get rid of refined sugars, refined grains, refined vegetable oils, processed foods, it's basically meat and vegetables.
We might be able to influence a variety of organ systems through one intervention.
This is a unique event in the history of modern medicine.
There are powerful vested interests.
This will seriously harm our profession.
Pharmaceutical companies are profiting from this. Weight loss industry is profiting from this. Undertakers are making out like bandits.
Cancer cells depend on glucose as a source of fuel.
I am really going to do this. I am going to do this.
I started this new way of eating today.
I have no idea how we're going to do it. The first 5 days, she starved herself.
The fifth day, he said his first word.
Tap your fingers.
I almost fell over on my chair.
Literally jumping up and down. And she stopped seizing.
My tumor started shrinking. The possibility is that she could cure her diabetes with food.
No more inhaler.
Absolutely. Cheers.
It's time to look at the results and the outcomes and say maybe we got it wrong.
I have faith in bigger, better things, man.
That gives me goosebumps.
It did give me chills, too, and you need to see this movie, folks. There's a lot of new information coming out. We had that other movie, I forget the name of it, the vegetarian one, where they were saying that meat was the cause of diabetes. So we have some of those things, too. But the films like this, and there's another one called Homegrown Revolution that you were talking to me about earlier, which I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
But it says here, as long as we know how to work with nature, we can produce everything in abundance. And to drive home this point, the author here is talking about the documentary Homegrown Revolution, which you saw.
Yes, and it stars a family that has become entirely self-sufficient while living 15 minutes from downtown Los Angeles. Folks, if they can do it, we can do it.
Yeah.
In our small yards and our containers, you can really start to grow your own healthy food. And so when Jules Tavares found out that genetically modified food had entered the food supply, he and his family decided to start growing as much food as they could on a space in their garden not bigger than 1/10 of an acre. After a couple of years, they succeeded in producing 6,000 pounds of organic fruit and vegetables a year, producing biodiesel to drive their cars, and holding a city farm, including bees, chickens, ducks, and goats. All of this has enabled them to become directly and indirectly self-sufficient in a dense urban area as they buy non-growable foods with income from their garden surplus, which they sell to individuals and restaurants in the local area.
So not only are they feeding themselves and their family in a healthy way, they're also feeding their community, but more important, they're also making a living at it.
I love it.
So, talk about sustainability. And if you go on YouTube, you'll find a lot of things like this that people are doing.
I love having access to these individually produced videos and movies. And as far as the Magic Pill, it says it's going to be in cinemas around the country. I'm going to see if I can maybe arrange to have a showing in our area. Maybe you and I want to champion that.
Sure.
We could do that. And so the founder of that urban farm in Homegrown Revolution, he had an interesting quote that he said, as so many of us are currently enslaved by the corporate food industry. And he said, in our society, growing food yourself has become the most radical of acts. It is truly the only effective protest, one that can and will overturn the corporate powers that be. By the process of directly working in harmony with nature, we do one thing most essential to change the world. We change ourselves.
Wow.
Powerful.
Yep.
So we really do find ourselves at a crossroads in history, folks. Are we going to let Big Agri and the chemical companies and powers behind these companies use food as a weapon to rule over us, exactly as Henry Kissinger envisioned in his 1974 National Security Memorandum? He really wanted to basically say, if we control the food supply, we control the people.
Yep.
Well, that's exactly kind of what's happened because, the corporations are controlling the government.
Yeah, and
so
this is kind of a thing that, remember Hitler said, when we control the children. So we get the children into these camps and these schools and these military situations very early. When we have them, then we have a society that's built around them. Excuse me. What we're doing now is really using the food as the same type of thing. So not only do they have us by watching the TV, they have our children because they're in school, where they also have us because they have the food and they have the control. This is one thing we can take back very easily by buying local from your local farmer or starting to do some of these things myself. If you listen to Adapt 2030, like Paige and I do, he's talking about sustainability that you can do in a bedroom, in a home, or even outside, or no matter where. They've got these vertical walls. They've got these machines that
You may need to have your
rotate.
food inside to keep it safe from loiters of this. I mean, it really becomes a point of where are we putting our energy, folks? Are we on the hamster chart, or are we starting to do things that will free us? So after we've just talked about this exposure to what these genetically modified crops are doing, I want to take a turn here, and I want to show you something fascinating. And this article was in Anthropopper, and this is a problem of nutrition, the problem of nutrition. Folks, beyond organic, there is a system of food production. I'll introduce a doctor who is one of my mentors after this article, but it's called Biodynamic Farming. Much of the biodynamic farming movement was stimulated by Rudolf Steiner, a major thinker, earlier years ago. So let me get into this. If you mention In Fred Pfeiffer, in a recent post, it reminds you of the account he has given of a significant conversation he had with Rudolf Steiner. This was concerning the frustration experienced by Pfeiffer and others regarding their general lack of spiritual experience in spite of all their efforts. And I'm trying to become more spiritual. And Dr. Steiner, Rudolf Steiner's reply was, "This is a problem of nutrition. Nutrition, as it is today, does not supply the strength necessary for manifesting the spirit in your physical life. A bridge can no longer be built from thinking to will and action. Food plants no longer contain the forces people need for this." Now keep in mind, Rudolf Steiner was nearly a century ago when he was speaking, and it was that situation. How much worse is our food quality today?
It's pretty bad.
Nearly 100 years on, this combination of depleted soil, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and now GMOs are providing even less support for the growth of truly nutritional food. And this was the case in Steiner's time, and it is today. When we get back, we have to take a short break. I want to show you some fascinating pictures that indicate that there truly is a difference in food and in the way that it communicates to our bodies what we need to be the true beings we are, which are mind, body, spirit beings. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back to the show. The article we're referencing is called There is a Problem of Nutrition. And Walter Danzer is the author of this, and he's referring to a book called The Invisible Power Within Food, and it's published in Switzerland by Dazen is his name. The author says, I have discovered that organic food possesses an amazing, beautiful life energy or order force, life design principle, whereas the life energy of non-organic food is generally weakened, disrupted, or destroyed. So he finds this very important, and this picture really bears this out.
Folks, I definitely want Nico to put this in the newsletter so that you can see this. But what you're seeing here is a perfect example of informational healing is the best way I can explain it. But this is a picture of an organic apple, and I think Al's trying to give us a better picture. So on the left, you've got an organic apple and a non-organic apple on the right. And
quite a contrast.
It's a tremendous contrast, very much so like Dr. Emoto's water crystals that show the difference of loving intention on one crystal formation and hatred and emotive thoughts on the other side, having very distorted water. You can almost see in the fractal design of the apple on the left, the apple orchard itself.
Yeah,
so
see the individual trees here, it looks like.
I mean, it's just fascinating, as opposed to the apple on the right, which is the non-organic apple. So far, you know, you might think, why are we using such arguments from advocates for organic and biodynamic food? But where is the scientifically credible proof of such assertions that could convince professionals in the field of food, nutrition, health, and disease? And this is where Walter Danzer has made a great breakthrough. By the way, I went to Amazon and put his book on order.
Oh, good.
It's $30, but I'm going to get it. He has developed a method of researching the life energy in water, food, and other substances so as to provide images that arise solely from the water or food itself, and they can be understood immediately just by anyone by looking at it.
Yeah, it says here, what do these photos reveal? The image of an organic apple seems to contain the figure of the entire apple tree, as well as the apple blossoms, seeds, and even entire orchards of apple trees. In the non-organic organic apple, the natural essence is hardly visible anymore. It is blurred, lost, and diffused into fragments. Even in processed foods, there are great differences between organic and non-organic ones. And we always stress this, too. If you're going to do a processed food, process it yourself or know somebody who's processing it and how they're processing it. And then you'll probably be all right. An instance is sausages, you know.
It says the structural arrangement of non-organic drinks and foods are shown to be amorphous, unorganized, and without signs of life. And this is where those of us in the whole person type healing field believe there's something about the whole. And, you know, fractal science says the information of the piece has the content of the whole. And this, I think, demonstrates it more beautifully than anything else that we can see. The image of a soy drink made from GMO soybeans looks like a lifeless, abandoned planet. But by contrast, a drink made from organic soybeans shows what appears to be branches and even 6-petaled blossoms. That was it, Nico. See if they can see that. Let me look at that. That's the soy. Yeah. No, that's the soy. Oh, that's the orange. Okay, yeah. So an organic orange, same thing. Here's a grain of rice. Look at the structure on the left and the kind of desecration on the right. Yeah. So Danzer suggests that when we first put food into our mouth, what happens is that the subtle energy field, okay, the etheric part of the food, enters into our subtle body, informing the subtle body of what's to come.
Yeah.
And then
the food first gives us life, its wealth of information, its capacities, its knowledge, its order force, which is the life design principle, its memories and experiences. All these are stored in the subtle body of the food. Food are, in fact, highly developed information systems that sustain life. I think about computers. The computer is our modern way of communication. Plants have this natural ability to communicate with us through the ingestion of them. And this is why I really do believe that whether it's animal food or plant food, it really doesn't make a difference to me. It's that life force that organism is giving us. There's a communication between us. We become the apple, we become the buffalo, we become the sheep. We also would become the GMO.
Well, and those of us that practice etheric healing, which is the belief that it's actually the life force, the field, the information contained in that assists the body in doing the healing, because it is the body, mind, spirit, the whole body that actually is responsible.
Right.
So if you're not getting the complete picture, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and what these pictures show us, and the information that we are getting show us, that there really is a difference on a genetic level. And this is not genetics. This is just looking at a powerful microscope. This is not going down to the DNA level at all. We're just talking about looking under a microscope and seeing it either alive or dead, kind of like the picture of the dead water that goes through a microwave and the alive water that is going down a waterfall.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So let's dive down. What is more, the way in which food is grown and prepared can create food that goes far beyond the power of their organic ingredients. Most of us can sense that a meal prepared lovingly by a family member is much more nourishing for us than a factory-made ready meal or one that is served in a fast food farming operation. Humans, farm animals, and pets need naturally grown food that are both materially and subtly wholesome, and thus able to support life. And these photos by this author, Dr. Dancer, shows that these foods that fulfill this need on a fundamental level, and these are organic foods. And for many consumers, organic foods cost more than they are able to pay, yet it's a fact that we can see many of these conventional foods, in fact, do not carry this life force that we so desperately need.
And we're in a situation here in the U.S. where there's a lot of people who cannot afford to buy good food anymore just because of the economic nature. Their jobs aren't worth as much, or they've come here and they don't have much money. It's difficult for people, and I really do think that we need to supply great food for everybody. There should be no GMOs. Everything should be organic. The only way this is going to happen if we who buy organic keep buying it local and do away with anything that we buy that comes out of our county even, I would say. You know, we really have to, we're in the real power here, being the consumers. We're the ones that can change the things out there.
It's our choice, folks, because the consequences of our current model of industrial agriculture, all of which the consumer, that is us, will have to pay in one way or another, not to mention the health weakening effects of eating these non-organic foods. So, you know, in a just society, the polluter pays, right?
Right.
The polluter should pay. We would like that principle to operate here. Companies such as Monsanto and Bayer and non-organic farmers would be required to meet the full external costs of industrial farming. And there's actually an organization in the UK, it's called the Sustainable Food Trust. You know, you brought that up earlier, that was a good point, that they've set out a case for the true cost accounting of these foodstuffs. And so, whereas the true cost pricing is finally brought about, there's a huge resistance from this industrialized agricultural animal, and it's likely that organic foods will have lower prices than non-organic foods if this is successful. There is already one nation, the nation of Bhutan, which has decided to allow only organic agriculture within its borders by the year 2020. Good news. So if this country, Bhutan, can do it, so can we.
Sure.
So what are you going to do? We can grow our own food. Nico and I have some great stuff. We're gonna further define what is biodynamic farming, even better than organic, and introduce some of the people, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Gowan in California, that's putting this into practice. Stay with us.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Well, I have a dream, like Martin Luther King said, you know, that we get rid of these GMO frankenfoods and we move towards the beautiful health-giving effects of organic food, food grown with loving care. But could it get any better? It sure can, and that's biodynamic farming. Nico, let's introduce biodynamic agriculture.
Well, it emphasizes the use of manures, compost, and excludes the use of artificial chemicals on soil and plants. Methods unique to the biodynamic approach include the treatment of animals, crops, and soil as a single system, and the emphasis from the beginning on local production and distribution systems.
Well, biodynamic, it's a form of alternative agriculture, kind of like, since when did natural agriculture become the alternative, just like when did natural become the alternative? Right. And it is similar to organic farming, but it includes various esoteric, a word I love, concepts, and these were drawn from the ideas of Rudolf Steiner, who lived from 1861 to 1925. He's the father of anthroposophic medicine. Mm-hmm. And initially, he developed it in 1924, and it was the first of the organic agricultural movements, actually.
Yeah. There are 60 or more countries that are now using this type of biodiversity and growing methods. And the United States, of course, is not one of them. Canada is not one of them. We're moving more and more away from that. And really, this is, what we consider, when we introduce the show, we're always talking about our rights and our freedoms. Mm-hmm. And I do believe it's our intrinsic right, and we need this freedom to choose our own food and not have it shipped all over the place. We need it local, organic. We need it pristine. The basic health of our nation should be the number one concern of our government, of these companies. But the main thing is the profit of these companies and finding ways to shaft the general public. Remember, the rich people can eat whatever they want to. They're going to have their diversity. They're going to have their really great foods because they can afford it. Yeah, we deserve it too, and even better than that, people who are starving in the United States deserve the best food in the world. Why not give it to them?
Yeah, Germany actually accounts for 45% of the global total of biodynamic farming. 45% of their farming is biodynamic, Rudolf Steiner being a German doctor. And biodynamic methods of cultivating grapevines have been taken up by several notable vineyards. And there are certification agencies for biodynamic products, most of which are members of the International Biodynamic Standards Group. So There says that there's no difference in beneficial outcomes, this is from Wikipedia, which have been scientifically established between certified bioidentical agriculture and similar organic, but and they're saying that it's lacking scientific evidence. But we now know, and we can see the results in the health of the people, that foods that contain more subtle body information are going to produce a healthier effect. And one of my favorite biodynamic medical doctors and also biodynamic farmer is Dr. Cowan. I introduced you all to him when we talked about the human heart, cosmic heart, and his research on how our heart actually functions not as a pump. And this is controversial information. And I wanted to just tell you a little introduction to him. I'm hoping, despite our early morning hour, that I can get him to be a guest, or perhaps, advance film it in little segments that we could show a couple segments. And a little bit about Dr. Cowan and his practice. He's you can learn more about him at Fourfold Healing, but he's had a long and fascinating journey since he first opened his holistic medical practice in 1985, and it led him through Ithaca, New York, New Hampshire, and for the past decade to San Francisco. Now, in the Napa Valley area, he has a biodynamic farm. And I share in my holistic co-op office, some of his wonderful herbs and plants and vegetable powders that are grown biodynamically. And, if you want to get some, you can contact me.
Cool.
And he's really pursued the questions of what are the connections between diet and health, and what is a true healing diet, and how this amazing system we call the human body really works.
In the film that we watched about the pills, it was interesting because just in a few days, people switching their eating habits and starting to get some healthy fat in there, all of a sudden things start to happen, and they are noticed with the family, immediately. It's really astonishing. It reminds me of the lady the doctor who gave the coconut oil to her husband, and after about a week, things started to improve. It's the food that makes the difference.
And notice what they said in the movie: vegetables and healthy proteins. And, really, here was a conventionally trained doctor, Dr. Cowan. He studied Rudolf Steiner's anthroposophy. I can never say that word, but you guys know what I'm saying.
I can't, that's for sure.
The practice of traditional peoples, the work of Weston A. Price. Is this guy my kind of guy? I love him.
Sure.
Homeopathy, herbology, and many other disciplines. And he's investigated how water works. He's a brilliant researcher, right in the same lines as our Robbie Vessner, of how water works in the human being and what the heart actually does, and the details of why we get cancer, autoimmune diseases, allergies, and many other ailments. And as a result of his investigations, he's opened up avenues of treatment that he shares when you choose to become a patient or consult with him. Well, I'm going to be sharing a lot of this. This is very much the same thing that I do with people that want to learn to stay healthy, because it's really about a journey. It's your journey to become healthy. And that's what we're all about here, is we are sovereign soul beings. We have the right to be healthy and to learn and to apply these things.
It's in my own journey, these last 8 to 10 years that of being on this food journey, it's quite simple. And it's astonishing how great you feel just by changing the food. It's a mind blower. And I talked to Tom about this the other day.
And the right thinking, though.
Well, of course, that goes along with it. But I don't think your brain is clouded, when you're eating great food. It's, and most of this has to do with the brain, it seems like. The other things are going along for the ride in a bad way. But it really does seem to affect. Just look at our society. You look at all these killings that are going on, people going crazy. This is no accident. This is the way, these are the symptoms of our society. This is the way we're living now, and to change it, we change the food. And all this evidence is, and we're going to get more and more, because it's just beginning, folks. Just think, the last 10 years, it's changed quite a bit. I think in the next 10 years, it's going to be 100-fold, because more and more people are doing this and discovering that it ain't that hard. It's easy just to change. Get away from those carbs. Start eating the sensible normal way we used to do hundreds of years ago, and you're going to be fine. And you can even tweak it. Once you start doing it, you can say, okay, I've learned from this guy, I learned from this guy. So many people out here, like Nora Gagatis, and like
she was featured in the movie?
Yes, she was, and the bulletproof guy, and the fat-burning man. All these people have great knowledge, and they're passing it on to you, and this is going to go 100-fold from where we are today to 10 years from now. And, you know,
And
if you want to be there, start eating this way, because you're going to be smiling, listening to this information, knowing that it works.
And people like Dr. Thomas Cowan, Dr. Deborah Gambrel, who is a Rudolf Steiner physician in the Napa Valley area. These are the people I want to hang out with, people that really help people rebuild their health.
Yep.
Not from one angle, but from the whole body, using the whole foods, using right thinking and right movement.
Right.
So,
and we'll be right back.
Break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of The Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
So welcome back. We talked about quite a few things. I think you wanted to introduce one more person.
Another person that I think is a real influencer, as I mentioned, Dr. Deborah Gambrel. She's a fascinating person. I follow her on Facebook. You might want to too. And she is in the same lines as Dr. Cowan, and she practices gentle child-based biodynamic treatments aimed at restoring the body's natural ability to heal itself. And she uses this approach in her pediatric practice in Sonoma County in California. And whether your child suffers from seasonal allergies and asthma, frequent colds, or anxiety and stress, these treatments work with the body's natural ability to heal itself. She was a speaker at a conference I was at, and I was just, it just kind of made me drop my jaw of how she pulled it all together. And, she makes a quote and says, "A happy and healthy community is not a fairy tale. All you need is to seek and follow your intuition." I like that. Let's feel empowered with our intuition. We know best, and seek advice based on current science to keep your child healthy and safe. And I extend that to you, to keep your family, to keep your own self healthy, And, so many people are suffering from stress and conditions such as that are affecting our health. And really, this return to nature and integration and biodynamic integration is where we're seeing all of the research going.
Yep.
We talk about getting out into the sunshine, getting grounded with the earth, using nature cure. I really resent when people say alternative medicine. This isn't the alternative. This is the original.
Yep. Primal.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think next show we'll go into more details about maybe dietary fats, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well, I always like talking about fat, and that's the journey that we took, just changing our mind about fat. And 50 years of saying fat is bad, it's a big hurdle because we're still getting commercials, and these commercials are intrinsically absorbed in us, and then we kind of are always going towards that. So we go to the grocery store and we'll reach for the low-fat stuff because that's what's been programmed in us. So to get over those things is tough. The burden of changing your diet is a hard one to get over because all these comfort foods, remember, mostly carbohydrates are the foods that draw you in. So these are the comfort foods. I
think we're going to learn a lot in the magic pill for a lot of people, help them connect the dots.
Yeah, when does that come out? Do we know?
I don't exactly recall, but we'll keep everyone posted. Okay. I think you can Google the magic pill trailer and get more information. It looks like it's going to be playing at select theaters. Maybe you want to be a person that hosts it and helps get that word out.
That would be nice, yeah. So we're learning a lot about this, and what really blew my mind in the beginning of this was those pictures of the organic apple and the non-organic apple and seeing the difference under a microscope. And it's not looking at DNA, it's really just looking at the fibers of the apple. So when the fibers of the apple change, then you know there's something going on that you really don't want inside your body. So I encourage everybody, and I was telling my producer earlier, when you go down this road, you're going to find you're going to settle on about the same amount of money that you're spending, because the food is going to be more expensive, but you're going to be eating less of it. And that happens over a small period of time, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, maybe 6 months. Who cares? When you start going in this, you're going to start feeling better, and then pretty soon, after a little while, it's all going to meld away, and you're going to be paying approximately the same, maybe a little bit more, but approximately the same for your food, but you're going to be eating less of it. You won't be eating any junk. And that's what really sold me on this whole thing. When we finally settled down after a few weeks, we noticed our grocery bill wasn't as much higher as we thought it would be, because in the beginning, you're buying everything. Exactly. So you really don't know. So throw the old stuff out, get some new stuff in there, start this journey. It's going to give you so much nutrition, which means that you're going to have a really healthy life. So,
and I really look forward to having some of these thought leaders, and these are medical doctors that have seen the light.
Yeah.
They realize that these isolated drugs are not good for us,
right,
and that there's a better way by reconnecting with nature, using nature cure, working with the etheric or the subtle body for the informational purposes, and they're getting healing and they're getting great results.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. We'll see you next time.
Exactly. See you next time.
Bye.
Stay well.
Basil Chapman has just announced a special subscriber event taking place Monday, November 20th from 5 till 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. What can you anticipate for 2018? In this 90-minute webinar for subscribers to Basil's daily trading newsletter, The Opening Call, he will be discussing a variety of topics for the coming year, including, can high techs continue to lead? Will the financials be affected by yields, and where will yields be in 2018? The chances for inflation or deflation? What stocks could be affected or weakened in the coming year, as well as Basil's long-term outlook for the dollar and gold, as well as many other topics. For all the details and to sign up for a 30-day free trial to the opening call, visit the front page of TFNN.com today. With nothing to risk, this is a great time to try out Basil's daily trading newsletter. Sign up today.
You're watching Tiger TV.